How's everyone doing? Welcome to the final episode of After the After Hours with your boy TraderPrad. The final day of this week is tomorrow going to be a free fall Friday. Now get ready for tomorrow. Powell going on the microphone. Powell going on the microphone again. Get ready for tomorrow. So I do have a watch list ready, but if you guys are ready, hit that like and subscribe. Hit that like and subscribe. Thank you guys for all the love. Thank you guys for all the support. Started. Why don't we dive into the full screen and hit that like and subscribe. Yo, what is up, nerds? We're here talking about the market once again. It is, I have to check, January 15th, Wednesday. So we got 2 more days in the market. You kind of lose track of it all in the sauce, you know. You just get lost in the sauce. You don't even know what time it is. You're sitting in a dungeon, no windows. You don't know. It's like a casino at almost, right? You don't know what time it is outside. You're just sitting there. You're stuck all day. And sadly, what you're doing is also a little bit like a casino. But hey, if you do it right, you got the edge. You got an EV. And thankfully, your boy today had all the edge he needed. So nice little green day for me. Slammed the day. Mostly Robinhood, you know, it's a trade that I planned for last night on stream with you guys, and the trade played out exactly as planned, thanks to CPI day. So all my stars aligned, and at that point I said, you know, I have to take this trade and I have to trade it right. Could have done a lot of things better, could have made a lot more money, but you know, at the end of the day, the trade set up and I did the right things, which is I sized up more than what I usually take on a trade these days, and I was able to have a nice start to my day, starting with Robinhood, and then Citigroup also helped out a little bit. I was basically 4 for 4 today. What else did I trade? QUBT. So a lot of stocks I was trading, and I didn't trade a lot. I only traded 4 stocks, but the ones that I traded them right, and it felt good. Today felt smooth. You know, if I was to grade myself, which I do every day after I'm done stream, I do a little thing called daily report card, and for the most part, it's been B's and C's and D's. But today, I think it's gonna go in an A category, just because of how in flow state I was. So shout out to my ability to be in the flow state, especially with CPI moving the market drastically, moving big time to the high side for CPI. And the question is obviously what happens tomorrow. Does the market reverse the CPI move like it has done before? We could see a full 180 and go right back to the downside. Does that happen? Or do we continue, keep rallying over here and keep going north side? So a lot of questions to be asked. Quick comment about the quantum sector. So turns out now all of a sudden Jensen Huang actually wants to host a conference about quantum computing after he recently shit on them by saying that they were 15 to 30 years out. So lots of hilarious turnaround over here on the quantum computing. Nice bounce on them. So they are on the watch list too. We got earnings names on the watch list and all other fun stuff. So why don't we head over to the full screen, talk about the trades that I traded on the day, and then plan for tomorrow. Thankfully, since I didn't trade a shit ton like I always do, I don't have to spend half an hour just explaining my trades today. Yay! So sticking to my overall idea of quality over quantity, back in December, if you were watching me, you would see me having 14, 15, 16 different names traded on the day, and my overall day would be flat or really positive. But now it's either really positive or really little bit green, unless I go full crazy like how I did Tesla yesterday. That we don't talk about. We erase that from our mind. Men in Black blind your eyes, blind myself along with it, and completely erase that from my memory. So let's talk about today. Basically, if I risk $1,000 on the day, I made $1,000 today. So that's what the +1R means. 4 out of 4 green symbols. Good day. Planned for Robinhood last night and traded it to the best of my current skill ability. Could have had more size on it, but sizing up gradually and not run before I walk. Citigroup made me work for the trade on the breaks of 77, but managed to turn the stock from red to green. Only traded 4 stocks, getting better at the over trading issue. Less is more, quality over quantity. And here are the executions. So Robinhood pop in the pre-market along with the rest of the market, thanks to CPI obviously going into that daily level of 44, actually managing to stay above 44 on a pullback, and just taking that push back through it, in that area, adding it on the high daybreak, taking some profits at the 1x, and then basically managing the position from there on with the 5-minute bar trail. And as you can see, I was able to capture most of the meat of the move over here on Robinhood. Took the high daybreak out, but that didn't really have too much follow through, so took out for those shares for basically a break even, and didn't want to hold that any longer. So good trade to start off the day. And usually my opening drive trades are horrible, but this week apparently my opening drive trades are straight home run. So shout out to Robinhood to adding to that change in sentiment, going into the right direction, I guess, for opening drive trades. But you still want to be very selective when it comes to trading the opening drive. Very selective setups, right? You can't be just trading random stuff, taking random breakouts. It's got to be with a good catalyst or a proper pattern. In terms of hood, it was a daily pattern. You should have been on here on the stream last night to learn more about that pattern and why this trade was very important for me. The other one was Citigroup with a nice breakout over its 52-week high, whereas JP Morgan didn't even stay above the all-time high. It had a peak above the all-time high. We'll talk about JP Morgan in a bit anyways, but JP Morgan had a little bit of a peak above its all-time high in pre-market, but then got dumped right back down and basically stood below the all-time high until much later on in the day. Didn't have a lot of buying. I think Wells Fargo was a pretty good trade today, but overall Citigroup was the only one that kind of made a move above some of the previous levels and was finding buying above it. So I focused on this one a little bit more. But this area was a trap. Every time I took the breakout of 77, it was just trapping me. I guess I should have been more active on looking for the dips into a 76, but at that time I chose my weapon of choice was Robinhood. I was focusing my eyes on Robinhood. I was reading the tape on Robinhood. I was in the flow state thanks to Robinhood. So I didn't really get to look at Citigroup for too long. All I saw was, oh, there's a range here. I see a box high. If we can take the 77 breakout, maybe I can risk down to 76 and be able to catch the ride. But realistically, I didn't risk the 76, did I? I took a lot of paper cuts starting off the day red on Citigroup, but eventually catching the move with not enough size when the move actually came out. However, I caught the move a little bit, and then with the trade over here from the VWAP continuation trade is where really I turned the trade from a slight red name to a decently green name, and then I give back a little bit of money. I give back a little bit of money over there on Citigroup and still end green on it. I'm okay with it. BYKI, small cap name. My small cap algo kind of alerted this trade to go long. I pulled it up. I said, you know what? I like the way the stock is holding above VWAP. I'll keep watching it. It popped above VWAP and it just kept holding, and then I tried to take the breakout over here. I didn't get any fill, so I just chased it a little bit higher. Then I took the breakout a high a day, and just a clean ride all the way up to basically 350, 360. I got a little greedy, didn't take any profits into that 350 move, and obviously a big slam down from there on, where you could have gone short. I just didn't pay for shorts, took my profits on a quick little long scalp. Thank you, BYKI. That's all you gotta do some homework. There's people on the internet right now crying, bitching, and moaning that edge erosion is a real thing on small caps. You just suck at trading. I'm sorry, but you just suck at trading if that's the case that you're crying. You know, I don't care how many more millions that you made more than me. I don't give a shit if you're sitting there crying about edge erosion because an awesome software like Flash Research is allowing idiots like me to learn about how to trade small caps. Then I'm sorry, you just suck at trading, because you know, you should be able to beat me with your so-called better skill level. You should be able to take my money, but you didn't. Haha. So edge erosion is not a real thing. You know, learn to get better, learn to read the stock and not just trade the same thing the same way just because it's worked before. Okay, things happen, it's a cycle. Get along with it, go along, or what is it, learn and change, or adapt and change, or die. That's what it is. You adapt and change along with the market as it evolves. It's a constantly evolving cycle machine unit. You change with it or you die, and that's why I love this job, baby. I love it. QUBT got long, immediately flushed back, so I got out. Lower day breaks and then pops back. I should have popped back in right there. That would have been a good long, and then I would have been able to add on this position here and basically ride it more. But you know, that doesn't work. Later on I get back in, that does work, and then I have to go take a shit, so I close my position and I leave. But I turned my stock from red to green, very slight green, right? Decent enough red at this point on this position. Actually, no, decent enough, I guess flat, because I actually make money here. I lose everything that I make and I turn it red very, very slightly by $2 realistically. And then I cover the last few shares for flat on that position, so I only get out a half and I cover the other half for flat. Then I get back in on that position, and then I'm able to ride it to the north side. So could have made a little bit more money, you know, 50 cents per share more, but I had to go take a shit. So I just said, punch out, I'm out, deuces. I could have thrown a stop and came back and I would still been in the position. Yes, that's for sure. But I decided to do what I had to do. And I'll take my profits and I'll turn the stock green, and I'll run with it. Okay, and I'll run with it. So shout out to today's day. Pretty decent trading. There were tons of other opportunities thanks to CPI day. Obviously, if you were watching, Tesla, Nvidia, VWAP continuation trades, opening range breakouts, quantum names. Some of the quantum names had a big move today, thanks to obviously Nvidia CEO having a conference about them in March. Then Microsoft had a quantum computing news also, and CPI along with it. So big bounce on these quantum names, and you could see you know, some of these Wall Street apes, I want to say, jumping back into the why did I pull up Nvidia, into the whole quantum fun and so on. You know, a lot of people might have bought right back after seeing this change in shift. So quantum names will be obviously at the top of the watch list again. 33% for some of these stocks, 55% for QUBT. I mean, insane moves right back up to the north side, where if they start showing you support, you know, on today's VWAP on dips, then that could potentially be day two. So you're looking for day two opportunities across the board on most of these names, especially, you know, IonQ, the way it played out today. If you took the high day breakout, if you took the pre-market high breakout, which you don't really have too much time to take it, you kind of have to throw an order out before the market probably even opens, because it just doesn't look like there was too much time to take the pre-market high breakout. Let's zoom into the position a little bit more and see. Yeah, you have to throw it out exactly at like 9:30 or so, or maybe let's go into the 30-second chart, see how that looks, or 10-second chart, see how that looks. Okay, so you do get enough time. You get about 10 seconds. Not 10, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. Okay, so you get about a minute. You get about a minute under that area to properly trade and wait for that breakout. Properly wait for that breakout. Somewhere right there. So $33 breakout on IonQ and blast off, and you can see how there's a big R-vol spike on that 10-second candle too, as the stock starts to blast through to the north side. Monster breakout, good little 10-second chart to help us out to see how the liquidity played out in that little pocket. You know, I love these second charts these days. I should start using it more to actually maybe make trading decisions off the open. Maybe that would solve my problem of trading the open so crazily sometimes. But you know, especially when you're back studying and looking at how much liquidity you had at certain pockets and how you could have traded in those certain pockets, going down to the actual 10 second, 30-second chart and looking at that area for entry timing and so on is such a great way to learn patterns and analyze and study. And it's just meta learning at the end of the day. Meta learning. Meta learning. Talking about meta, let's go to, no, I'm joking, we're not talking about meta. All right, so let's start with doing some research on IPO. Even though that IPO doesn't really look too hot tomorrow, let's kind of start with that maybe. So we're gonna go here. Oh, by the way, don't buy this company, okay? If you're buying this company, you owe me money, period. If you're buying this company, you owe me money. I don't care, because I told you to not buy this company. Mainly because I want the price to go down so I can buy shares of this. I should have bought it when the stock was at $85. That's when I first notified everybody. All my friends were informed about this when the stock was at $85. And now, fuck me, man, it's at $105. So I basically call the bottom on the stock. You know, I suck. That's all I can say. I suck. That's all I can say. Hey man, I'm not a swing trader. I'm not a long-term trader. But I had a really good idea, a really good call out, a really good plan. And boy, oh boy, does it look like this plan is maturing a little too early than I thought so. So NTES, keep that in the back of your mind. I'll be dropping a video about this very soon. Until then, don't buy it. Don't buy it. Wait for me to buy the stock first, and then you jump in, okay? Don't buy it now. Wait for me to buy first. So let's go look at the IPO for tomorrow. Profile. Leading provider of production optimization, artificial. I almost thought they were gonna say AI. I was gonna start losing my shit. I was like, no way, you're an AI company for energy. Anyways, artificial lift and methane abatement. abtement, abate, abatement, what the fuck is that word? Solutions for oil and natural gas industry. Our products and services include a full range of equipment and technology solutions that enable our customers to efficiently and cost effectively maximize the profitability and economic lifespan of the production phase of their operations. Our principal products and services are organized into two business segments: production solutions and natural gas technologies. Our core technologies include high pressure gas lift. So you provide equipment, you don't actually do the oil and gas stuff. Okay. Conventional gas lift, plunger lift, and vapor recovery solutions, all of which are overlaid by our proprietary digital technologies and solutions that enable real-time remote monitoring and control to maximize efficiencies of our product and services. You've been servicing, I guess, you know, servicing is a crazy word. You've been founded in 1996. You have about 1,270 employees, so it's kind of a legitimate company. Let's go take a little bit more look into it. You are offering 17.8 million shares. Deal size is about 400 million, range between $21 to $23. Market cap 448 million. That's it. Enterprise value of 1 billion. So you're a small cap. Okay. Shares outstanding 22. So out of 22 million shares, you're offering 17 million to the market. If that's not an exit strategy, I don't know what is. But surprisingly enough, their PE is actually nice. They make a good amount of money. 6.37 PE for a small cap company. Technically any company less than 2 billion, sorry, in market cap is a small cap. This is enterprise value is about 1 billion. So you know, it's still kind of under that threshold, whereas the market cap apparently only 480 million or 500 million, I should say. Depending on where they open tomorrow, could be higher, so we'll see how that one sets up. PE though, like I was saying, 6.37. that means they make money, they're profitable. So let's continue reading some of these numbers. Profit margin is 17.8. Operating margins are we're saying gross margin 50%, operating and profit margins 24.86 and 17.89. Negative cash flow, 12 months operating cash flow 137.71 million, and capital expenditures is okay, so not negative cash flow, positive cash flow. Balance company has 23.12 million. Okay, so you're a little bit in debt there, but you do have that in cash basically. In the last 12 months you've made a revenue of, how much are you in debt? So you kind of can make that much in 12 months, I guess. Earned 75 million out of the money you made. Earnings per share 3.45. Okay, so they do make money. Let's go look at some more numbers over here. Revenue growth 63% year over year. I mean, it's hard to be bearish when you're growing by 63% year over year. Okay, and look at that number over there. So clearly growing year over year, looking better. And if they IPO tomorrow around $21 to $23 and have good liquidity, I'm interested to look long on this name. Obviously, I'll be ready to go short if 21 breaks, but I think the stock will potentially open at 25, 26 and try to go higher. They don't really do the digging of oil and so on. They sell the equipment for it. Leading provider of production optimization, blah, 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 blah. So they actually provide the technology and the equipment to companies that do the oil and digging and so on. So not a bad look over here. Sadly, the deal size is not the greatest, so it's just something that we'll have to wait and see if there's enough volume for us to play with on that name tomorrow. whenever it IPOs, potentially IPOing past 12 o'clock, knowing these lazy bums on this market. You know, they IPO the stock whenever they want. They don't care. They'll IPO it whenever the hell they want. So I just gotta stay patient and just keep it on a watch somewhere, put it on like a little chart on the side of your screen, and then as soon as the stock starts to trade, boom, you'll see it start moving. Then you pull it up and then you look for a trading opportunity. You read the tape, look for liquidity, and look for a trading setup, and then you slam it. TSM reports earnings tomorrow. High priority name, especially if the market continues its rally, and TSM also reports well. So high priority name over here. Watching how TSM does. Recently TSM blasted off to the north side and then got slammed right back down. So I think we got a little bit of a expected move, not expected move, I guess you could say expected move. We kind of have something shown already of what to look out for if the stock actually goes there. So look out for that $222 price. If the stock pops on a good earnings and finds some resistance under it and then starts to break out above it, I love that long, especially if it has a little bit of a fight before 222 and then breaks out above 222. I love that long. So very interested on this. If we reject 222, pull back and find some buying above 210, 215, I'll possibly be looking long depending on how good on the earnings report they report also. But I'm expecting a good report. You know, I'm not expecting TSM to miss on the report, especially with all the hype and craziness that the AI sector has been bringing in recently. All the hype that semiconductor sectors have been having because of the AI sector, mostly Nvidia, but the Nvidia and partners too. So watching how TSM blasts off or not, depending on the earnings report, will be glued to watching how the stock moves tomorrow for sure. Pre-market will be a big time for this one. Not sure what time they actually report. Actually being do they report in Taiwan time first, and that means they move overnight? I'm not sure, or do they probably just report our time pre-market and then you know, they don't, are they interlisted? Let's see that first. So they are interlisted. I'm not even sure what market that is. That's a whole different market. That's like what, Switzerland market? What market is this? Taiwan Semicon Man. I love it. Oh, that they just cut down semiconductor to semicon, manufacturing to man, and they just cut it down like that. I love it. I love it. So TSM very much on watch tomorrow. Pre-market, we'll see what happens. Along with TSM, a couple other companies reporting. Shout out to UNH, actually making a pretty decent recovery, obviously after the whole CEO getting shot, craziness that happened that destroyed the stock. Now moving back to the north side a little bit. Are we okay? We're actually above the VWAP from that kind of catalyst pull down. So above, moving back, reclaiming some of the levels, and obviously not expecting them to report bad unless we'll see if the CEO or maybe, you know, we know he's not CEO anyways. Ever since that incident happened, does that, you know, make people go away from UNH a little bit? We'll be interested to see how the report comes out. So obviously watching UNH's report pre-market. Along with UNH, you have Bank of America, Morgan Stanley reporting, a bunch of other stocks with them, but I only care about these top 4 at the moment, and then I care about the ones that reported today already. So those will be basically the main watch list for me tomorrow, along with most of the quantum names. Obviously Nvidia, Tesla, Amazon, Google, Microsoft, I always watch them no matter what. The market, I watch it no matter what. So those will be constantly being cycled, but the ones that I care about for a trade opportunity will be the ones that are actually reporting tomorrow or have reported already. Walgreens also in the basket. We'll talk about Walgreens in a second really quick. But Bank of America, very close to, I believe, its all-time high. Is it? It is. So pretty close to its all-time high. On a okay, I guess I can just move this marker here. On a positive breakout above it, I think obviously we're gonna have a lot of fun with trading this name. Let's see, what is that level again? 4781/48. So we'll be watching this zone on Bank of America, depending on if we get above 48 and start holding 48 on dips, I love it. Or if we hold even above 48, let's say 49, the stock is trading between 49 and 50, and on dips it's holding above 49, I'm going to take that trade. If you watch how some of these stocks in the banking sector today played out, they gave you a beautiful let me turn off some of my indicators here. They gave you a beautiful VWAP continuation trade, right? Ignored the first half an hour of the day. It's just most of the time nonsense and traps. If you don't know how to trade, don't even bother trading with the first 30 minutes for until you become a little bit better, right? Later on, you can see how the stock actually pulls back into the earnings VWAP and then just bounces right off the earnings VWAP. Where does it go? To a whole new high a day. You could have even taken this little breakout right there and added to your position for a new breakout a high a day. Sadly, the stock does pull back and then it bounces off of 76 again, however, but sadly the stock doesn't keep on running and running and running. For example, Citigroup bounces off of the earnings VWAP and runs and makes a new high a day. JP Morgan, here's another example, bounces off of VWAP and moves to high a day. So just be patient. You don't have to trade the open. People will look at the open right here with how volatile the stock was and be like, oh man, I missed the trade, oh, and they start FOMOing and start doing stupid shit. Who cares? Ignore it. Fuck it. You know, maybe you did miss an easy dip buy. Who cares though? Move on. Look for the next trade. Wait for the first half an hour. Wait for the first 15 minutes to play out. You could have taken the high of this candle area if you wanted, which was around 250, and then you know, you could have ridden the VWAP bounce afterwards. So tons of activity that you could do. Just gotta be patient. You could have taken the breakout a high a day if you were interested for a quick little scalp. Look at that pullback into the 21 moving average and then move right back into high a day. So many opportunities on these earnings names that you just have to be patient. Look at Walgreens, for example. Walgreens pulls back to, what is it? $12. What does it do? Bounces off of $12. What was the level we talked about yesterday on stream? $12. Did I see this trade? Yes. What did I do? I passed on it. I didn't really want to trade too many stocks on the day. I already made my goal on the day, so I just sat there, watched Walgreens move, and I was like, okay, not bad. So maybe it's worthy to watch Walgreens. I call this a B setup, honestly, but you know, you could call this an A if you want. I'll call this a B setup. You get a nice little 40-cent move to the upside to take profits on. And you're risking about 10 cents. So 4R trade, a coin flip of a trade, maybe a little bit better than a coin flip of a trade. So I'm talking about the probability of a win rate on the trade, which is most of the time 50%, right? Most of the time a trade is a coin flip. It's either 50% of the time you lose or 50% of the time you win. But if the other things start to align for you, like, oh, is it holding the previous day's VWAP or important key level, or is it a setup that you've been tracking and you know exactly what the win rate for that setup is? So if you start doing things like that, maybe you'll start understanding that the win rate for this setup over here is actually a little bit higher than 50%, around 60% or so. So if you calculate that 60% win rate, let's actually pull up the SMB calculator for this. There's a beautiful SMB capital calculator for this. So put up 60% win rate, reward was 40 cents, and risk was about 10 cents. If you add slippage to that, risk was probably 15 cents. So you can see how that trade, according to SMB calculator, with the 60% win rate, is a D trade. Expected value of 0.18. Watch it drop if you are expecting with 50%. It drops a little bit, not by much, but this is what it means. It's a D trade. It's not really that important of a trade for you to have. As important of a trade was Robinhood to have on the day. For example, the pre-market high breakout, or even the dip and holds into $44. You're risking, what was that candle low right there? 43.50. So let's say you're long 44, you're risking 50 cents, and you got about what is that, about $2.23, and the win rate for that, especially after that dip and hold on that trade, is like 65 to 70%. So if we go back to the SMB Capital, you're risking 50 cents, you got about $2 for it, and let's just say 65% for that one. This is a C trade. It's a little bit better according to SMB Capital. If you ask me, that's a fucking A+ trade. Fuck you, SMB Capital. But you know, this was a C trade apparently, with how much you had to risk and how much you got to, you know, play out with it. But hey, I think it's actually an A trade with all other variables combined. If you look at the way the market was moving, banks were reporting. Not that Robinhood is a bank. Robinhood had good catalysts yesterday. Everything combined, I loved that trade. So I'm gonna call it an A+ when I put it in my notes today, and nobody can tell me nothing. Nobody can tell me nothing. Turns out it was a new book I was just signed up for. I don't even know your number. I don't even know your number. Lol. All right. So let's go to the next stock that's reporting earnings. Morgan Stanley, MS. Nice little sympathy trade on Morgan Stanley along with the rest of the bank names. So obviously with it reporting tomorrow, we could see the other stocks that sympathied, or the other stocks that gave the sympathy potentially rally along with them. I'm really watching JPM tomorrow to get above this 253 area. It actually got above it a little bit by about 67 cents. So I'm very interested on JP Morgan over here to see what it does above that 253 area, especially if it dips into 250 and shows me buying above 250. I am very, very interested for that long. Also, if Morgan Stanley reports well, I think that could just juice this long on JPM tomorrow. So I'm very, very interested for a day 2 opportunity on JPM. If all the criteria that I just mentioned, such as, you know, Bank of America, Morgan Stanley report well, market wants to have a day 2 rally, JP Morgan is giving you a dip buy into 250. So if all those things are playing out exactly as I just imagined it, I want to smash that trade. Like, I want to throw in so much risk into that trade. Like, I want to maybe even risk twice my daily shutdown, right? Twice my daily shutdown on that trade. If I'm being real with you, I'm probably not doing that. But I want to at least risk my shutdown on that trade if it plays out that way. That's how much I like that trade. Because how well JP Morgan reported their earnings report. That was a really good report by JP Morgan. They did amazing. So shout out to JP. Citigroup, watching how Citigroup obviously continues its rally if it wants to. I'm expecting possibly an inside day for the most part on Citigroup, but if it does want to start continuing its rally, I think we got a pretty solid base below 79 to look for a breakout, especially if in the pre-market this is all the stock does, and then the earnings reports from the other stock gives you a breakout above 79, a move into 80 and much higher. Keep in mind, this is a 52-week high. It is a bank name. It's not one of those random small cap names. So expecting bank names to go crazy back to back days is a little crazy, right? So you got to be a little keep mind of that and control your expectations, I guess. So for Citigroup, for Wells Fargo, for the most part, I'm not expecting a big reaction. Even if they do, you know, they got tons of resistance room right to the upside. You can possibly look short, if I'm being honest with you. If Wells Fargo gets into 78 into $80 and is not able to find buying above these two prices I just mentioned, you could look short for a move back into 76. You know, I think the stock will still end green, that means it has to end above 76, and looking short from 80 to 76 by risking only what, 2 3 maybe 20 cents at best, and you're getting multiple dollars, $4 or $5 out of that trade, I would go for that trade always. So I don't think Wells Fargo will have sustaining power if it's trading in these area. But hey, if I'm wrong, I would love to be wrong. That means it's having buying above 78 and it's finding buying above 80, and it just wants to keep making an all-time high run through. If I'm wrong, I'll take it. I'll accept defeat and I'll play the long side. I don't care. I just want to make money. So simple ideas over there to keep an eye out for on these names, as they could have a day 2 opportunity of continuing the rally along with the sympathy of the other trades, or they could also give you a false breakout of previous levels to potentially look short. So a lot of trades over here that I'm very interested to keep an eye out for. I think 80 will be something to keep an eye out for on this name also. Goldman sucks. I didn't really trade it today. Didn't they report earnings today? They did, and just shy of the all-time high. Wow. Okay, I'm a rhymer now. So just shy of the all-time high. Looks like 610 was the peak high today. 609.41 was the peak high really, but 610 to 612 is the area of possible interest on Goldman Sachs. So we'll be watching if Goldman Sachs can break out and continue its rally, potentially do what JP Morgan is trying to do over here. You can see how JP Morgan's a little bit of a cleaner chart when it comes to that breakout compared to Goldman Sachs. So it's like down here, whereas JP Morgan actually has a little bit of consolidation in this area and then it's trying to break out. So that's why I like JP Morgan better, by just looking at the chart, looking at the pattern, and just off a quick pattern read recognition from my mind and my gut feeling, I think this one's just a way better trade. But that doesn't mean I'm not watching the other ones, right? Doesn't mean I'm not watching the other ones. Always going to be watching these bad boys. WBA, I mean, look at this chart. That chart is insane, nuts. So beautiful move, episodic pivot if you ask me, and it is showing you buying above $12. So nice little inverse head and shoulders on the daily chart here. Nice little inverse head and shoulders right into yesterday's VWAP, daily level $12, giving you support, giving you buying, and the stock actually managed to rally higher a little bit. Now it's not day 1 anymore. This was day 1, this was day 2, this was day 3, this is day 4 at this point. So day 4 is whatever, but is day 5 a real play? Not really. The only play at this point now is not even like an earnings play. You're just kind of waiting to see if buyers can keep defending $12 to maybe look long, and if it does go back to 12, you know, does it go back to 12.50? It has a 50-60 range cent ATR, so maybe it does go back to 12.50, but I would be so bored if it goes back to 12. For me, you know, I want to see the stock staying above today's VWAP, which is what, 12.35. So any pullback, I don't want to see the stock going below 12.35, 12.20. Like, that's the lowest I want to see it basically. Yesterday's close was 12.24, so you know, kind of don't want to see it below 12.25 to 12.30 tomorrow on any dip. If it does get below that, I'm very turned off on it, but I'll be watching that $12 area because that has a lot more significance than what I just mentioned. This is just my personal opinion. You know, I don't want to see it below this area, but how much further is 12? Not that much further, right? It could easily just drop to 12. The 5-day moving average is at 12. It could just do the same thing it's been doing for the last 2 days and bounce off 12. So I gotta do the right thing, and I gotta respect the level. I gotta respect the level on the stock. The next few stocks are basically quantum names. Your guess is as good as mine. Look, I gave you the move down. I gave you the move up. I told you this move is going to continue down. And then I said yesterday, this could have a bounce. This could have a bounce. And it did bounce. So now your guess is as good as mine, because this looks like we are now getting a little bit of a different shakeup on the basket again. Now we're getting love for the basket. You know, the CEO who kind of started the down move is now creating the up move again, and Microsoft is announcing good news. So it is kind of, you know, paradigm shifted, and now it's shifting again. The bubble popped, but now the bubble's starting to being blown up again. So it's craziness is happening. Your guess is as good as mine. You want to play level to level, right? You want to play level to level. Make sure you are charting right, charting properly, and you have the right skill set to read the tape. I hope if you have the right skill set to read the tape, you might help yourself a little bit on these names. Otherwise, you might get hurt. So be careful on these names. Right now, lots of craziness happening, like big bounce on IonQ. You know, I'm not sure which one I'll be trading tomorrow. I'm not sure what I'll be doing with them tomorrow. All of it depends, honestly, on tomorrow's patterns. So these names are just going to be blank for me on my watch list. I have no clue what is going to happen on these names, but they are a high priority. Isn't that a wonderful conundrum to be in, right? You just don't know what to do, but these are just high priority. Robinhood, let's go to Robinhood. I think you are not getting a dip buy on this stock. If you are, you know, that's kind of negating today's rally, but it has happened before on Robinhood where it breaks out. For example, in this area, right? It breaks out, looks strong, and then drops right back. So I don't want to see what happened here on this area. I don't want to see that this was just the market pumping Robinhood. I want to see real paradigm shifts. I want to see actual moves to the north side happening, and that will only happen, in my opinion, if we are dipping and holding the anchored VWAP from today. So that's around $45. So if Robinhood gets below 45, I am a little worried for the long. Yes, it could hold 44. So you know, 44, obviously that's a previous box level high. Yes, it could drop down to 44 and hold 44, but if it does hold 44, the long move that you are expecting is potentially all the way to VWAP, and then the stock is just trading like this, and then today's VWAP ends up being yesterday's VWAP. This is the expectation if it goes down to 44. However, if the stock goes down to you know, it starts off somewhere here and then drops down to 45 and then holds 45, then your expectations a little bit higher, because the stock would kind of do this. It's the VWAP would start going higher. That means the stock is getting bought higher and higher and higher. You could get a good breakout of today's high at 46.50 to add size on, and then a monster move to maybe 47 or even 48. So depending on what kind of pattern sets up tomorrow, I'll be interested to see what I want to do on this name. Obviously, for the most part, I'm only looking long until or unless the stock gets below 44. Weakness under 44, then I might look short on Robinhood. I'm not really looking short on Robinhood until then. Nvidia, Tesla, good bounce across the board. Obviously, you know, if you didn't bounce today after the reaction the market had to CPI, then it's almost like whoa, what's going on with you, right? So good bounce across the board. This looks like a nice breakout zone coming into play. I guess you could just say 430 on Tesla. Keep a watch on what 430 looks like. If Tesla gets above 430, this could be a throwdown of a trade trade tomorrow. So today's high 429.80. So yeah, if 430 comes into play, I think honestly the stock might even open above 430, and as long as it stays above 430 on dips, you are looking very long on this name. I mean, this stock just went from 405 to $430 today, up 8 goddamn percent. So a very bullish move on this market reaction, and I wouldn't ignore a move above 430 tomorrow. This could actually have a crazy reaction on any sort of a blast off. Obviously 430 might be moved to support based on how the stock is looking like in pre-market. It kind of just makes me want to not even care about Nvidia at the moment, right? I don't really even want to care about Nvidia at the moment. I just want to be focused on Tesla. Yeah, I don't care about Amazon for tomorrow either. I think I might just care about Tesla, because Tesla could give you a failed break of 430, meaning it breaks 430 pre-market, but it's not able to hold 430 on the opening drive at all. You could potentially get short 430 and see how low can the stock really go, with risking not too much on that trade on the opening drive. I'm very interested to see how it plays out. So more interest on this name. Google obviously in the quantum basket. The quantum names are going up. Microsoft just announced some quantum news themselves, so if Google is going to use that whole quantum basket as a reason to go test all-time high again, which they just double topped into, so you know, it is potentially something to keep an eye on. You know, we'll see. If market goes higher, I think Google goes back into all-time high fairly easily. It's at 195 right now. Google's ATR is about $5, so expecting it to go to $5 or $6 is not that crazy, right? So potentially going into 200, 201 if the market goes higher tomorrow for a day 2 CPI day rally. But if the market does a 180 reversal, expecting Google to go to all-time high might be a little crazy. Palantir, I think Palantir stayed under 70 today. Yeah, for the most part. I think I said 70, if I remember correctly, I said 70 might not stay above on Palantir. And it was true. I think I put in my watch list yesterday. Let's go take a look at it. I didn't even put it in my watch list because I wasn't interested in trading it, and I'm most likely not interested in trading it tomorrow too, unless it gets above 70, right? If it gets above 70 and shows me buying above 70, I might be a little interested. Otherwise, I'm not too interested on Palantir tomorrow. DJT, let's see what I know. I saw DJT popping up later on in the day, but not too much really happened. Looks like not too much really took place. Yeah, just on watch, no clue what I want to do with it. Just on watch, just tracking. If there's a pattern, trade the pattern. If not, ignore it. Market, let's go quickly talk about the market. QQQ popping right back into the FOMC EMA move, FOMC VWAP and the Trump victory VWAP. So both those VWAPs kind of around the same area, and the market popping right back into that zone. So day 2 pop higher, I like it, or a reject and a short, I also like it. So the day high, whatever today's high is on the market, is very important for me. It's kind of 517.85. It says 517.85, 518, but I'll say up to like 520. Just give it that round number. More importantly than the QQQ, you really want to be watching the futures, right? If you want to look at levels on the market, you really want to be watching the futures, and then analyzing the futures in relation to QQQ and so on, and looking for the top or bottom on those areas, because those are way more important in the big picture spectrum. So watching QQQ is fine, nothing wrong with it, but you really want to be looking at the overnight low and the overnight high and what they look like on the futures to get a bigger picture of really the levels on the market. So great bullish move across the board. IWM with the monster move today. breakout of the zone above IWM will be very interesting, especially with how small cap stocks are rallying again. You know, the robotic sector was really in play today. Obviously, quantum sector, the drone sector was launching to the upside. Here's the robotic sector. A lot of stocks were up today, 56% up for KITT. So you know, they just don't stop. They just don't stop. So lots of names to be interested in, and time to make money, baby. The season's just starting, and that's earnings season just starting. We're about to have a home run earnings season. I feel I'm gonna have a home run earnings season, and I am all the homework I've been doing, all the hard work I've been doing from December 2024. God, I wish I've been doing more work and not being lazy and playing video games for the last 3 years of my trading career. I should have listened to my parents. You know, I should have listened to my parents a little earlier and actually been serious about life for once. And now I am. You know, I quit video games, don't play video games anymore. And I spent that time just journaling, journal, notes, study chart, and all that work is finally paying off. Imagine I put that work in much earlier. God damn it, dude. God damn it. All right, so speaking about that, time to go do some work. That means first I gotta eat some food. I gotta go do some dishes. Then I gotta go do journaling and all other fun stuff. So TraderPrad is out. I will see you guys tomorrow for the final stream of the week, and obviously the trade review and all other fun stuff. Have a great day on the market. Time to roll out the outro. Thank you for coming out and watching. Obviously, shout out to my affiliate sponsors, Trader Sync, Trade Ideas, Flash Research. I'm forgetting someone. Who am I forgetting, chat? Trader Sync, Trade Ideas, Flash Research, Benzinga Pro. So which will be very important for us, who it's a product that we'll be using to look at earnings reports every single day as they start coming out in the after hours. So shout out to my affiliate sponsors, links in the description below. I'll see you guys next time. TraderPrad out. Peace. Where's my buttons? There we go. Get ready for trade off of. Get ready for the watch list for tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen. So I'm gonna bring in my big screen over here. Back to another brand new week of After the After Hours with your host TraderPrad. I'm doing great. Hopefully you guys are joining me on that great side. Markets are moving around. Might just be a risk on type of day, so let's see what happens. 8 o'clock tomorrow. As you guys know, we do the stream Monday to Thursday, 8 p.m. Shout out to my affiliate sponsors, Benzinga, Trade Ideas, the #1 scanner to go to, Trader Sync, promo code down below, promo code PRAD15 to get 15% off. I will catch you guys tomorrow, 8 o'clock, same time, same place. Until then, TraderPrad out. Adios.